It's been an exciting opening series for the Athletics. Monday it started off with the on-field ceremonies. Then Sonny Gray took the hill, flirting with history as he took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. After a quiet night Tuesday, the A's rebounded nicely as a couple of newcomers making their major league debuts put on an offensive show, and the green and gold put 10 runs on the board and cruised to a Game 3 victory. Today, Bob Melvin and the boys go for the series win versus their AL West foes, the Texas Rangers. Hey, the first day game of this 2015 season, and the weather is cooperating. Gorgeous day for baseball at the Coliseum. Mark Canha, one of the heroes from last night, and Kendall Graveman. So the youngsters doing their thing for the A's early on. It's the fourth and final game of the series. Texas Rangers, Oakland A's, coming up right here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. On Tuesday, we saw Jesse Hahn make his A's debut, a young right-hander. And today, it's another young right-hander, Kendall Graveman. Ray, we saw him in spring training. He was very impressive, so we're looking forward to seeing him today.
Run support. Give him some runs. Jesse Hahn got 0 on Tuesday night. Of course, the guys in between did a lot, but this young man knows how to pitch. And as he told us in San Francisco, he does not want to walk batters. He does not want to get to a 3-ball count. He knows how to pitch. He's around the plate. He works quickly, just getting some run support, making his major league debut as a starter. 5 appearances last year out of the bullpen of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's happy to be here.
Mark Canha's happy to be here as well. Huge night last night. He and Tyler Ladendorf had all kinds of fun. And today, Canha back in the lineup against a right-hander.
Start looking at record books because this young man bases loaded his first hit. Almost a slam as it went to right center. He thought he had it. Did clear the bases. That was a double. He would have a tremendous night with a hard hit up the middle and a near home run again. This is the base hit. You watch his aggressiveness swinging the bat. He does swing the bat hard as he does this one, almost a one hand that went out almost to left field at the 3:30 mark. But a great night for Mark Canha, and like you said, he's back in the lineup today. You will not have a better opening start for a couple of kids. Tyler Ladendorf last night as well as Mark Canha.
Canha's going to play left field today after playing first base last night, and he will face Nick Martinez, another young right-hander for the Texas Rangers. So the A's trying to win the series on a gorgeous day for baseball here in Oakland. It's the A's and the Rangers. We'll have lineups and first pitch in just a moment.
He likes to throw strikes. He likes to go work quickly. And that's always fun, especially for the guys playing behind him.
So we are set to go right on time as Leonys Martin steps in. A's have won 2 of the first 3 games of this series, so a win today. They win their first series of the year with the Seattle Mariners coming in town this weekend.
First pitch.
Adam Hamari, the home plate umpire, is very critical in this game, and especially with his ball strike calls. And to be honest, over in San Francisco, the last exhibition game that Graveman pitched, got a little squeezed on at first base.
Well, there you go. That's a good sign if you're Graveman.
Yeah.
Sinking fastball and a low strike called, so the count 2-1 with Chu and Beltre to follow.
As he told us over in San Francisco, that is something he does not like to do, go to the 3-ball count. But it is his first start, 5 appearances out of the Blue Jays bullpen last year.
And it's a 3-1 pitch that's low and a leadoff walk. Let's look at the A's defense today. Canna at left, Bolden center, Zobrist in right. Laurie at third, Simeon at short, Sogard at second, Davis back at first, and Stephen Vogt is your catcher. So Shin-Soo Choo steps in. Chu in the second spot today. He's 1 for 7 in this series, and he swings and misses.
Cap, I think a lot of times for a young pitcher, especially a rookie pitcher, it's important to let your catcher do any talking to the umpire, especially if something's close, because a catcher can do it without anybody knowing. If a pitcher stands on the mound and shows displeasure at a strike zone by an umpire, it's not going to work out.
Chu laces one to right field for a hit. So early action for the Texas Rangers. So the A's had a good game last night. So what do you do, Ray? You keep it the same, right?
That's right. Sonny Gray taking the lineup card out. He doesn't have to introduce himself to these guys because he did it last night. Steve Buechele, the bench coach, Jeff Bannister, and Jim will probably say, you know, I was behind the plate last night. And Sonny, do you know if the A's win today and tomorrow and you're pitching Saturday, what are you going to do then? But the skipper would like to have that problem to worry about. That would be a great start for the A's in the first homestand.
2 on, nobody out for Adrian Beltre.
Graveman is, like you said, a sinker ball pitcher, so a ground ball could get 2 quick outs. But a very tough hitter, or hitters coming up, especially in Beltre and Fielder.
And Beltre sneaks back in the box. He's still learning.
He was told by Hamari, pointed the batter's box.
Beltre looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 11.
And you know, interesting that Adam Hamari would do this, and Hamari's saying, yeah, let's go, get back in the batter's box, and just wonder how much that disrupts a hitter because they have a routine. And the routine, take a pitch, step out.
Pickoff is thrown into center field, and both runners are going to move up. The pickoff throw not really close. So Graveman has got himself in trouble here.
Well, and unless that's a good throw, and really unless you're trying to get it out, they might have with a good throw gotten Martin. But the bottom line, it now takes the double play away.
So what do you think the ratio is of when a pitcher attempts the pickoff at second where you actually pick somebody off as opposed to the ball goes into center field? I bet it's like 8-1. 8 times the ball goes into center field, 1 time.
Exactly.
It just seems like the ball going into center field happens an awful lot more than actually getting a guy at second or even making it close where it affects the runner a little bit.
And it is amazing how much it's worked on during spring training. Very little during the regular season.
Laurie is going to come home. The throw is there. Vogt puts the tag and the ball pops out and Martin scores. Although, did he touch home plate? Vogt says, I don't think he did. If not, should probably go tag him.
Well, they tagged the plate, and now Bob Melvin is going to wait and see because the play was there. And Kipe, I don't know that Vogt actually had the ball once it was thrown to him. Never caught it, dropped it there.
He did touch it.
Yeah, he did touch it, and so they're going to look and say nope. But Stephen Vogt might have looked up a little bit. If he catches the ball, he's out easily. You got first and third, a possible double play now runs in. But Stephen Vogt, unfortunately, right there, dropped the ball, thought he had it in his glove, did not. And really very similar to Mark Canha last night on the bunt by Leonis Martin. Thought he had his glove to tag him, but plate was tagged. Adam Roden confirmed that, and very quickly an ugly inning for the A's, and they're down 1-0.
So fielder's choice, E2, no RBI. As the play unfolded, the E2 allowed the guy to score, so there can't really be an RBI. So fielder's choice, E2, and a couple of errors in the first inning. How often do you have in one inning an error by the pitcher and an error by the catcher?
That's true. And you know, it really is a very good play by Brett Lawrie at third, because he's second and third. There's no double play possibility. Hard hit ball to him. The runner's going. The only difference that maybe he had to throw into the runner a little bit.
So Prince Fielder's going to drop a base hit into center field. He gets his third RBI of the year, and I think the A's would like to start this baby over. Isn't it a 105 start today, Ray?
Maybe we should. He's going to visit with his young pitcher, but Prince Fielder, third run and batted in. The first one came on a similar bloop single to center field, but got the job done. This is ball that was left up. No chance for a ground ball double play on that one. So the old saying is you try to minimize the damage, nobody out, and a couple of runners on base, and a Graveman can get out of this with just the 2 runs. As ugly as it has been in this first inning, gives his club a chance to try to come back.
So Ryan Rua will hit. Still nobody out.
Number 16, Ryan Rua.
A couple of hits, a walk, couple of errors, and Texas with a 2-0 lead.
4 strikeouts last night for Rua, and the A's hope that he does not come back today after Brett Lawrie did the same thing on Tuesday night. Lawrie with 3 hits last night.
And Rua had a tough night last night. Overall on the season, he's 1 for 11. That one hit, of course, the single that broke up Sonny Gray's no-hitter on Monday night. Beltre and Fielder are your runners, and that's a base hit to left field. Canha charges. They're going to hold up Beltre as Canha gets it in, hits his cutoff man.
And unfortunately, Kendall Graveman is not throwing the way he did in spring training. I say that only because he's leaving too many pitches up. Got the ground ball, but look at the location. This is a hanging breaking ball, and right in the middle of the plate, melts high, and that is a very hittable pitch, and could have been double play. Unfortunately for the A's, it went into left field between third and short.
So bases loaded, nobody out, and a couple of runs in. Here's Mitch Moreland. He was terrific in spring training with Graveman. Moreland 1 for 7 on the season. And he hits with high in the air. Canha's going back. He's in front of the wall. He makes the catch. Beltre's going to tag up and score, and Big Prince Fielder tags up and goes second to third. So a extremely productive out for Mitch Moreland. Sack fly, and ends up moving up 2 runners. So 3-0 Texas.
Batting in the 7th position.
Well, this ball stays in the park, fortunately, and there was Elvis Andrus up, although he does have good speed. With the runner at first staying at first, and Rua, he at least has a possibility of a double play to get out of the inning. But there is bullpen activity very quickly for the Athletics in this first.
Jesse Chavez warming up.
The long man Jesse.
So here's Elvis Andrus, first and third. And Lawrie, what a play. Fires to second for 1. Now the throw comes home, and Fielder's going to be in a rundown. A's will try to get the strange double play.
They'll take it.
And they will.
You know, unfortunately, the runner at second base, did they call him out?
Oh.
And
well, they're talking about it.
Yeah, they are.
The runner is walking away. And the umpires
they called him in the neighborhood. Fortunately, get off the field and see if they're going to do something. But that was a high throw by Lawrie to second.
Now they're calling the A's back out onto the field.
Yeah.
So they called the runner at second safe. Now Sogard had to reach up for the throw. And the second base umpire, Doug Eddings, I believe, called him safe.
Well, and it would not have been a bad call because he was off the bag. Edding But this is even better with getting Prince Fielder between home and third and getting the run down and getting the out. But there's the high throw. See if Eddings even makes the call. Oh, his foot's on the bag. Maybe the A's should review it. I think they are. I think the A's are challenging it. Bob Melvin's out, but his foot was on the bag. He jumped up and gave the illusion that it wasn't. It looked like maybe his toe stayed on enough time before he got off. And plus, folks, we got neighborhood plays. I mean, they usually protect the middle infielders on a play like that. But I think it was so obvious initially with him going up that it looked like that maybe he didn't tag it.
Yeah,
but
and I think it's interesting now is the neighborhood play. How much of it still exists when you go to a replay? Well, and then it's eliminated. I think the neighborhood play. But
you know what happens there, Kai? If the neighborhood play is going to be challenged, and in New York they don't look at it, then it's a moot point for an umpire here to make a call. But watch Sogard at second, and Doug Eddings is the second base umpire. And was his foot on the bag before he came up? Because he's actually, ball's in his glove. He's out. I mean, his foot looks like his toes on the bag, lift up right there as he goes after the ball. And if that looks like, and then he comes off the bag. But the illusion is that he jumped up to catch the ball. But I think in that slow-mo replay, it shows that his foot was there. And if that's the case, the A's are out of the inning.
That's the case. It's a 5-4-2-5 double play. That's all right.
But worst case, they get Prince Fielder at home because he was going on the anticipated 5-4-3 double play, which is the smart thing to do. Yeah, Cap, I think we should start all over. It's 1:45. Let's start at 1:05.
A little weird early on here.
All right, let's see.
I think it's on there.
It looks like it's on. And remember, there are cleats on the bottom of those shoes. That's on the back. Nice shot, Delaire. Guys, that's a perfect shot.
Now, you have to remember what we're doing on our telecast, blowing it up like that. They're not doing that back in New York to look at the replay. But you can't blow things up like that to get a better view.
But correct me if I'm wrong. Don't they take every feed, both ours and the Rangers, and their own? So maybe if they're taking the time to look at it, maybe they will eventually look at it. I don't know for sure, but you're right. New York, and I said, and I've been a believer that you put these four umpires on the list. Who's in New York? Put those guys on the list as well.
Exmo is brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort.
Great
and
call.
They called them out.
Great call.
So it turns out to be the 5-4-2-5 double play that gets the A's out of the inning, but not before the Texas Rangers score 3 times. A's come to bat in the bottom of the first. Three runs. And here's the A's lineup for today. Full vote Zobrist, Butler, Davis, Laurie, Canna, Sogard, and Simeon.
Well, you know, this is going to be some kind of a bottom of the first. Nick Martinez taking the mound last year, a rookie. And in fact, he started the final game that the A's defeated the Rangers in Arlington last year. The A's Sonny Gray a shutout. 5-12 in 24 starts as a rookie last year. Huh? Huh?
So the first pitch to Fold is a strike. Sam Fold hits one left, toward the corner, but Rua goes back, ball carrying a little bit, makes the catch, 1 out. Rangers defense, you see Rua in left, Martinez in center with Chu in right, Beltre, Andrus, Odor, and Moreland. Infielders, Carlos Corporate gets his second start.
And the rule is that if a play is challenged, whatever the decision, it's in this case overruled, overturned. There's no argument from anybody. Long conversation between innings between first base umpire and the veteran crew chief Bill Miller with your first-year manager Jeff Bannister. And I don't know what the conversation was, but we have seen managers who have objected to the ruling and have been automatically ejected. It is the ruling, but again, this could have been just a general conversation. But it was surprising to see Bill Miller come all the way over to the dugout and have what was a 225 discussion.
So 1-1 the count. Strike on the outside corner, Stephen Vogt.
Well, the 2-6, I agree at the end, because the 5-4, that's an out there. And then they go to home, which is the 2 to the 5. So 5-4-2-5 should have been extended.
So Vogt reaches out, lines one into right field. Well, we may have to do a little more research on this. And what we're talking about is the official ruling on the play was a fielder's choice 5-4, 2 back to the catcher, and then 5, which is Laurie who made the tag. But then they went 5-4-2-5. 2-6 in the official put-out, and we're trying to figure out where the 2-6 came from.
Especially after the 2-5. Meanwhile, Stephen Vogt got a pitch up in his own from Martinez and a base hit to right field.
I think I may be mistaken, Ray, that it was not Laurie who made the tag on. I believe it was Simeon. So
okay, here's Laurie making it throw the Vogt.
Here it is. All right. Guys in the truck keeping me in line. Is glad they do that. So I thought Laurie made the final tag. Indeed, it was Simeon. So that's where the 6 comes in. Busy play. Either way, it's
5-4,
we'll give him a double play.
2-5-2-6. Just one number too many for zip code.
3 too many for me.
But it actually worked out. That's a rare double play, and the A's will take it to get out of a very ugly top of the first, and 3 runs to earn. But trying to come back and figure that one's over.
1-2 to Zobrist off his foot. He'll limp this one off.
Martinez, typical 2-4 seeing fastball in this one, in and off the instep of the right foot of Ben Zobrist. Not only does he get hit off the foot, but watch as he comes up and then he lands on his knee, bang, on his left knee as he goes down. So while you're protecting the right foot, it's the left knee that takes the banging on the ground. That hurt me.
Yes. Side of the shin. Odor charges. He'll throw to first, get the out there, back to second, and Vogt is out. So another unconventional double play, we'll call it, and that's how the bottom of the first ends. Let's get to the second inning. Settle things down a little bit. 3-0 Texas.
The A's take on the Seattle Mariners. 15,000 fans will receive a pair of A's branded Argyle socks driven by Chevrolet. Get your tickets now. You can call 877-493-BALL or you can visit athletics.com/tickets. Sunday, series finale with the Mariners and the homestand finale.
Felix Hernandez scheduled to pitch that game for Seattle. Oakland Odor leading it off. Both the Mariners and the Angels will have today off. Seattle at some point today will make the flight to the Bay Area. Angels will head home. They will have their opener tomorrow night against the Kansas City Royals. 1-2 to Oakland Odor. Pops it up. Looking up into the sun is Simeon. He's got it. Quick inning would be a good thing for Kendall Graveman.
Well, it started much better in this half than it did in the first inning.
Batting in the ninth position.
Facing already the ninth hitter in this lineup. But you mentioned the Royals and the Angels, and with the way the divisions and the late schedules are set up, the Royals will play in Anaheim first early, be done, and the A's will see the Royals in the first road trip and be done with them, at least on the road. They'll still play them here as the Angels will play in Kansas City. Remember last year, A's thought they were going to be going to Anaheim. Instead, it was the Royals, and the Royals went on a sweep. They swept the A's, swept the Angels, swept the Orioles, and didn't lose until the World Series. So what, 8-0 in postseason? Pretty impressive. They're off to a pretty good start this year as well. Already at Donnybrook in Chicago or Kansas City between the White Sox.
That's right. Samardzija involved.
Yeah. In Quintana, they hit 4 of the Royals. I guess you can't hit anybody anymore these days without a fight.
And you know those teams in the AL Central, Ray, they just don't like each other. They may not after this year because that's going to be a pretty competitive division.
Yeah.
Setting up inside. Looked like a pretty good pitch to Corcoran. 2-2.
You know, the important thing is for the umpire not be look how far he gets behind. Maybe you blocked a little bit. That could have been a strike. Try it again.
And it hit him. They're calling foul ball. Corcoran says no. So they're going to talk about it.
Question is,
kind of a check swing, and the ball sailed right back to the screen. So that's sort of why it looked like a foul ball. But Corcoran's also holding his right hand.
well, Vogt just gave a signal over to the dugout. Well, it looked like it went back before. Yeah, it actually, look at his right hand.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. They've given him first base after a little umpire meeting at the mound. Bob Melvin wants to see what that's all about.
Well, normally if there's a swing, it doesn't matter, but he does not swing. He holds up his swing. It looked like he got him right near the sweatband on his right hand.
Watch the right hand. I think that's a hit back. So the umpires got together and I think they got the call right.
See, the fastball was not caught. He tried to go a little cutter inside. The ball ran in on the hands of Corcoran.
So now the top of the order in Martin. Martin walked and scored in the first inning. Kendall Graveman, 28 pitches already, with one out here in the second inning. Now, coming into this game, the Texas Rangers had scored just 3 runs in the first 3 games. Of course, been shut out a couple times, but they score 3 in the very first inning. Hit very high, shallow center. Fold calls everybody off.
And that's what you want to see hitters get under and hit fly balls, especially those who really don't have the power consistently to drive the ball. The ground ball hits. Of course, Marlins fly ball to left field was deep enough to score a run, but look at him just get under the uppercut instead of on top of the ball. Difference of a line drive to center or a fly ball to center, and he knows it, and back in the dugout.
There's the pitch usage last year. Remember, his 5 appearances last year with the Blue Jays were all out of the bullpen. So for Graveman, this is his first big league start. He gets out of the second, bottom of the second coming up. It'll be Butler, Davis, and Laurie. 3-0 Rangers. At California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. Just getting it all ready. Putting a little mud on it.
Casey Chavez, Mikey Falvin was rubbing up a bunch of baseballs over in San Francisco. So what are you doing, Mikey, getting ready for home opener? So I thought the umpires did that. Yes, no. Country Breakfast got his pant legs up high today. He a lot of times will do that during batting practice and a little back down on the ankles, but Sonny Grace, Sogard, Casey Hahn, similar look. Steve Booster's going to have to bring out some more. Start asking for the impressive looking Argyle socks.
Well, Voos probably has plenty, but you know what? Maybe they're in storage down in Arizona because he was loving all his storage room at the new ballpark down in Arizona.
Yeah, he had so much storage room down there. He was able to hide Will Ferrell when he made his debut there. Hide him in the back area. Yeah, let him have a nice lunch, quiet lunch, hidden away from everybody.
3-2 now to Butler. Davis to follow and Laurie bottom of the second. Rangers scored 3 in the first. Butler so far this year 4 for 12.
I think what and we saw it with the ball that was hit by a fold to left field. Ruoff caught at the warning track, kind of drifted on a little bit. But A's players who will play a lot of day games here at the Coliseum, including this weekend, they'll see the ball carried much better during the daytime than at night. Should be very happy with that.
Jammed into the glove of Moreland. Pretty good pitch by Nick Martinez.
You can see the movement on the fastball because Corcoran just set up in the middle of the plate. Right in the middle, let the movement take it inside on the hands of Billy Butler.
First baseman,
As he
17.
needs to get a new bat. And you can see the splinter in the X-Mo showing the splinter leaving its bat.
So that'll bring up Ike Davis. Davis 1 for 6 so far this year. He has walked 3 times. Was not in the lineup last night.
You almost have to look at Ike Davis and how many runs he's saved, because he has been a picking machine at first base, and he can definitely play some defense.
Flipped down the left field line, but foul. It's a broken bat. Part of the bat ends out near the pitcher Martinez, who picks it up.
Ball running away from Ike Davis, and that's the end of the bat. You know what they do, and I have to confirm with Steve Vucinich, because for a while when these bats were breaking like this, they would take them up and get them x-rayed, figure out why are they breaking the way they're breaking, because they can be dangerous. We saw one last night sticking in the ground that was broken. I mean, you have to let Vuce take care of it, because there's nobody wants a souvenir of a bat like that. I mean, you can't put enough nails in it to repair that one.
Strike call. Davis doesn't agree. 1-2 to count.
Ike has to believe that if he swings at this pitch, all he can do is beat it in the ground. That's a ball. Corcoran bringing it up, but don't call it where he brings it up. Call it where it crosses the plate.
Swing and a miss. Got in on the hands of Davis. Foul tip. So that's the first strikeout for Martinez.
Well, Martinez impressive as he was here in his second major league start last year. He gave up 4 runs, but only 2 earned.
Laurie.
In a game won by the Rangers, but Nick Martinez last year was not even on the big league roster in spring training, AA roster, and ended up making the team. Had the 24 starts that we showed. Probably one of the few to stay healthy last year.
And 3 starts against the A's, pitched well.
I guess you could say the A's beat him in the most important time.
That's true.
Game 162.
Martinez, 18th round pick of the Rangers in 2011. Still just 24 years old.
And Kai Corcoran is catching this afternoon. He caught Tuesday night, and that's when Brett Laurie had the 4 strikeouts. So not surprising this at bat, Corcoran is saying we're going to throw in breaking balls. He swung at 1, just took the last one to go to 2-1 count. And ideally, you want to pick up the spin on the baseball and figure for breaking ball, it's going to be out of the strike zone. He's going to stay with it.
And would you have done the same thing as a catcher?
Well, you have to keep calling the same pitch until the hitter proves he can hit it. And you kind of recognize that one, and not that one.
So a couple of strikeouts for Nick Martinez in an impressive second inning. We're moving to the third from the Coliseum. Texas leads 3-0.
Gray Oakland replica jersey courtesy of Cache Creek Casino Resort. Tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. And Amari's got to hold up the pitcher a little bit. You know, you got to get it down to 20.
That's right. Beltre leading it off. And Beltre, center field. Folds coming in. Goes into a slide, and he caught it. Nice play by Sam Fold.
Well, a lot of guys going to come up short on this because they're playing so deep and might break back to Sam Fold. Good jump, breaks in, goes down to the slide and catches it about knee high to rob Adrian Beltre of a leadoff single. That's great defensive play. And the key there, Kipe, you break in, you don't break back. You break back, you never get to it.
Sam Fold is a very, very good outfielder. Yeah. But I think he's a little different than a lot of center fielders. Noticed in the last couple years, more outfielders playing shallow. Yeah. Sam Fold actually plays pretty deep. Laurie drifts into foul territory, grabs it, 2 outs.
And it's okay to play deep if you break in.
That's right.
You can't play deep and break back and then try to recover. And there are some outfielders who instinctively, as soon as the ball is hit, they break back. Well, you get on your back foot, you have to regroup and take off. You can't get to it. But, you know, it's okay to play deep. But you have to be able to charge, and Sam Fold proved that he can do that with Beltre.
2 outs for Rua. Rua had a base hit in the first inning, his second hit in this series. So if you play deep and break back, well, now you're in big trouble.
That's a no-win situation there. Because you usually play deep because you might have trouble going back on a ball. So you play a little bit deeper, but that first step has to be in. And I think Sam, who is comfortable really at all 3 outfield positions, but in center field, he seems to play great because on the corners, the ball is going to break either way. And today, Zobrist is back in right where he started the first 3 and left. So there's a different way the ball comes off the bat in right field, especially with a right-handed hitter. It's going to slice towards the line. Conversely, left field, left-hander is going to slice towards the line.
3-1 to Rua. Swing and a miss. Rua pulled off that one a little bit.
He's thinking I have my 3-1 count. I'm going to hit it 9 miles. And when you pull off, head flies, hips fly, and you usually miss it.
Simeon dives, cannot quite get it. He was shaded toward the hole, so he had a lot of ground to cover going to his left. He just could not quite get there. So second hit for Ryan Rua.
It's supposed to be inside, left it outside, and Nate would to extend his arms and go against the defense a little. And just enough that the diving Simeon couldn't get to it.
Well, you said it, Ray, against the defense. So you see Vogt set up inside to a right-handed hitter. I'm trying to sink one down and in. So the shortstop slides over a little bit to the hole.
It's a good point, because they talk about Cal Ripken Jr. That big of a shortstop can't play the position, but he would play the hitters, how they hit the ball, position himself, so he didn't have to move as much. I mean, he was an outstanding shortstop. But it's a matter of, when you position yourself as an infielder, will the pitcher hit the spot that he's supposed to?
It's twofold, and if they both work, it's great. Right. But that was a perfect example of a pitcher not hitting his spot. Defense could not pick him up. Moreland had a sacrifice fly in the first inning. And this one's driven to left. Canna's back, and he's going to turn around, and that one's gone. Hit right at the top of the out-of-town scoreboard, bounced up, and that's a 2-run homer the other way for Mitch Moreland, and it's 5-0 Rangers. He likes hitting here.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Unfortunate for the A's, but and you know, it's hit hard. He's kind of falling off. That's a one-handed top-hand swing. At least the top hand of the ball just came up like going as a missile, and once it hit up where it does above the scoreboard, the yellow line, that's the home run. So one pitch is not made where it was supposed to be made, enables the hitter to get on base, and then the next hitter, instead of a very quick inning, he had 4 pitches at 2 outs, did Graveman, and then ends up giving up a single and 2-run home run. And that was big, because at 3-0, not to say 5-0 isn't possible, but how about that? At the O.co, 8th home run. Babe Moreland.
Simeon grabs it. Anders is retired, but Moreland has a 3 RBI game through 3 innings. 2-run homer. The Rangers lead 5-0. knocked in 4 runs, and those two gentlemen helped the A's win 10-0. And here is Mark Canha. And we don't do it very often, but we interviewed 2 guys after the game last night at the same time, and it was Leidendorf and Canha. Nice young men. And they were excited. How could they not be? They both played next to each other on the right side of the diamond. Canha at first, Leidendorf at second. Today, Canha playing in left field. So he can play left, right, first, play third if he had to. So Bob Melvin likes that. Combined, those 2 guys, 4 for 8, 6 RBIs. Canha drives on the left. That's hit well. Rua's back, and it's over his head. He plays it off the wall nicely and gets it back in. And it's a long single for Canha. Say hot, Mark Canha.
Not surprised, because there are times you get a lefty, he swing well, and he's a righty pitch instead of, let's go with the hot guy. He's swinging the bat well. He can turn on a fastball, which he just did. Looks like he has a little trouble with the elbow guard as he heads out of the batter's box, trying to readjust it. Coco, he hits a home run, unsnaps his Velcro on his gloves. Ball came back quickly. Rua played it well off the ball to save him with a single.
Bring up Eric Sogard. Sogard hits it hard to Odor. Out at second. And that's a double play. 4-6-3 double play.
Well, that
so
was
quickly 2 outs.
That was demise of the Athletics a couple of nights ago, where they grounded into 3 double plays on Tuesday night. Well, that's the second one already in 3 innings today.
Number 10, Marcus Semien.
So Semien steps in with 2 outs. Game we're keeping an eye on. The Indians leading the Astros 4-0. Top of the 7th inning down in Houston. And just realized that Trevor Bauer, the starter for the Indians, has a no-hitter going right through 6 innings. But to the dismay of the manager, Terry Francona, he's thrown 111 pitches through 6 innings.
He won't even have to worry about the 9th, because he probably won't pitch the 7th or the 8th.
That's true. No decision there for Terry Francona. 111 pitches through 6 innings. A no-hitter. And we'll keep an eye on that game.
I think it was last year, maybe 2 years ago. 5 walks, 11 strikeouts. Thank you, B.I.
Again, that's Trevor Bauer, the young right-hander for the Indians.
See, that's some brilliant information from B.I. throwing out that information about Bauer. That's why he's throwing a lot of pitches. That many walks and strikeouts.
Good curveball. We'll keep an eye on that game. Here at the Coliseum, it's 5-0 Texas as we head to the 4th.
Odor.
Well, we like that youngster for a number of reasons. The t-shirt, the hat, and the cotton candy. Is he having a ball or what?
It's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better. That's right.
You eat that much sugar, it's going to get better. Well, how about a shutdown inning? Another one. He had one in the second. Graveman did after hitting a batter and then got out of it.
He's facing Odor, Corcoran, and then the leadoff man Martin. Rolled foul for Graveman. He has walked one. He has not struck anybody out, and he has hit a batter. He's made a couple errors in the first inning that did not help the situation.
Well, what a difference it would have made if Martin had been out at the plate, first and second. There's that cutter, hit him again.
So Odor hustles to first base. That's the third time he has been hit in this series.
This ball running in, the breaking ball, he turns away, takes it on his right hip, and we saw with Jesse Hahn that sharp breaking ball, and asked Kurt Young about it, and he said it's just a sharp breaking curve that just kept breaking, and it ended up hitting Prince Fielder with a couple of strikes. And Jesse, who pitched well, gave up 3 runs on Tuesday, but not a lot of run support.
That's a base hit right field. Odor will stop at second. So Carlos Corcoran goes after the first pitch. Why wait around, he figures, and he's got himself a base hit.
Well, you think of the A's last inning. Very similar. Get a leadoff runner on base. Sogard, though, hits the ball right to the second baseman. 4-6-3 double play. This by Corcoran outside. Pulled it just enough past the diving Sogard. Young out to visit again.
Action now in the bullpen, and this time it's Evan Scribner.
And I guess the first inning it was the ultra long man.
Ultra long.
Jesse Chavez. This is a medium.
The shorter long guy. So a struggle for Kendall Graveman in his first big league start.
Now batting, number 2, Leonis Martin.
He's thrown 50 pitches, 20 balls, 30 strikes. Here's Martin. Laurie, the third baseman, a step in on the grass. Pitches outside. Martin, a very good bunter.
Yeah, he can push it or drag it, and either way, whether he's safe or out, I think both runners are going to advance.
So after that one, bounces it foul behind home plate. The Twins and the Tigers, they were in a game, did not start on time due to rain. Is it still raining? So they're still waiting it out in Detroit. Chilly weather in the Midwest. No surprise there this time of year. And that one is just foul.
Yeah, I said the Cubs game started, what, 2 hours late?
It was cold.
Cold, finished early in the morning.
The Tigers, in that game, if indeed does get started, they will be trying for their 3rd straight shutout to start the season. The last time a team started a season with 3 consecutive shutouts was a team that it was your group, the 1963 St. Louis Cardinals. And a strikeout for Graveman. He gets his first as Martin strikes out.
That's a big one. Big strikeout.
But how about this, Ray? 37 games played in the big league so far this year, and that does not include today. 13 shutouts, 6 yesterday. And the note at the bottom is interesting. It is a trend. Last year, average runs per game per team was 4.07, the lowest since 1981. The runs have been going down for about the last 7 years, and it'd be interesting if the trend continues. if there's tweaks made, I don't know. Who knows? Strikeouts are up. Home runs are down. Runs are down.
Well, you remember in '68 when Bob Gibson had a 1.12 ERA, and he said these mounds are too high, let's lower them, and that's what happened. And
Denny McClain won 30 games.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see if indeed the trend continues. Chu hits one high in the air, right field. Zobrist back at the wall. He is going to watch this one go.
To be kidding, that's a fly ball.
It dropped right again on top of the out-of-town scoreboard, this time in right field. And that's a 3-run homer for Shin-Soo Choo, and it is 8-0, the Rangers lead.
And that was Nick Martinez, standing ovation from him, and that's going to do it for Graveman. But you know, I thought when he left his bat, Zobrist going to catch it maybe at the warning track and be the second out, but instead Chu got under it, breaking ball, and that's a golf shot. That's just lift, and he lifted off, and that hurts. I mean, Moreland's opposite field hurt. This one really hurts, and just over the line.
So Graveman, a very tough outing, 3 1/3 as he leaves. And as we leave, we'll let you know when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
Scribner.
Friday here at the Coliseum. Get a ticket in our value deck behind home plate, an authentic fan long sleeve t-shirt, a cheer card, and a $6 food and drink voucher, all for one great price. Best deal in Bay Area baseball is Comcast Sportsnet's Authentic Fan Friday. And as we come back from break, Beltre singles on Scribner's first pitch.
So robbed him last at bat, last inning, and Beltre gets his first hit this inning.
First hit of the season.
Now batting, number 84.
For Kendall Graveman,
Prince
3 1/3,
Fielder.
7 hits, 8 runs, 7 earned. He threw 57 pitches. There's Prince Fielder. He takes a first pitch strike. So tomorrow night it would be Drew Pomeranz against Tawan Walker, the young right-hander for the Seattle Mariners. First of 19 matchups against the Mariners this year.
That would be 6 different series, and the possibility of seeing one Felix Hernandez 6 times.
It's not out of the question.
You know, while they will not, they being Jared Weaver, the Angels, and C.J. Wilson, King Felix will not pitch against the Western Division teams.
Nice play by Ike Davis, out at second, back to first, and they got him. So a 3-6-1 double play, but more damage done on the 3-run homer by Shin-Soo Choo.
These ticket plans are available now. The A's offer a variety of ticket plans to fit your schedule, as well as one of the most flexible ticket exchange policies in all of baseball. A's ticket plans provide significant savings off dynamically priced individual game tickets. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/ticket plans.
A lot of work to do for the A's. They trail 8-0. Full hits one high in the air. And Chu grabs it. And that's out number 1. So we've had 2 home runs today hit by the Rangers, and both of them have bounced on top of the out-of-town scoreboard. And
now batting the catcher.
Maybe what the camera doesn't always tell you, this camera does, is that ledge above the out-of-town scoreboards. I mean, that's probably what, Ray, 4 or 5 feet wide, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a pretty good ledge there. From where we sit, you really can't tell that there's a ledge there at all. You see the yellow line, but it's pretty wide. Yeah. And we do see a fair amount of balls hit right on top of the scoreboard and on that ledge. But when you see it like that, you don't really realize just how wide it is.
And that's probably why they have the yellow line,
yeah.
Just because if it goes over that and then the ledge on top of it, which would be on both sides, would indicate a home run without any question.
2-1 to Stephen Vogt, who had a base hit in the first inning. 1 of 2 hits for the A's today. The other one, Canis, long single. Vogt gets under that one, hits it high and shallow towards center. 2 outs. Time for the Ford Right choice. Just meet the A's. That's what we're going to do. Ben Zobrist, born in Eureka, Illinois. He was part of the 2004 Major League Draft. He was an All-Star a couple times. And really one of the best players in Rays history. Played there a long time. His versatility is really probably what he's best known for. A quality offensive player who can play 5-6 different positions. And that's where the value comes in. Ben Zobrist will be a free agent at the end of this year.
So you see all the positions he had played except 2, pitcher and catcher.
Just for that one, they had a little pop up behind short, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Nick Martinez. So we'll be back. 8-0 Rangers lead after 4. Eight 8-0 top of the 5th. Rangers lead. We're getting set for a big weekend of baseball here at the Coliseum. We'll have all 3 games for you here in Comcast Sportsnet California. Ains and the Mariners. Walker Pomeranz, we talked about that. Then on Saturday day game, J.A. Happ against Sonny Gray. And on Sunday, Felix Hernandez and Jesse Hahn. J.A. Happ, left-hander, coming over in a trade from the Toronto Blue Jays. Traded for Michael Saunders to Toronto. So it should be a fun weekend. If you can't come out to the ballpark, you could settle in on the couch and watch it right here on CSN California.
Evan Scribner, Cap, we can never forget 2012, last day of the regular season. Of course, last year memorable when Sonny Gray won in Texas. Put the A's in that one-game play-in, but 2012, Evan Scribner with A.J. Griffin started the game. The A's, of course, won game 162 to win the division on the final day of the season. Scribner, a big part of that is he came in relief of A.J. Griffin. And while it was not this score and this difference, but Evan Scribner did a tremendous job shutting down the Rangers, giving the A's a chance to win the game.
Curveball is reached for, hit to shallow right. Sogard has it pop off his glove, and Rua is going to hustle to second, and we'll see what the ruling is.
You know what that was? That was, I know he's coming in. I'm going to go out, and I'm jumping, trying to avoid what could have been a collision. And really, as the ball kept drifting, Ben Zobrist was there. And as far as Sogard went out, I would say Ben Zobrist came up short right there, but probably should have called him off. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But Sogard looking back as he reached up, you watch him look back right there. He's looking back how close. And you know, if an infield is going out and he does not hear an outfielder call him off, he has to continue and assume he's the one that's going to be making the play.
So it goes as an error.
A laser to left field by Mitch Moreland. This is off of Graveman, and it just went over that yellow line and the ledge, and a two-run opposite field home run by Babe Moreland.
Good swing there, hits it high and foul. So 3 errors today for the Athletics and 6 in the first 4 games of the series.
So I guess we have Taylor Babe Teagarden and Mitch Babe Moreland. Some guys just hit teams better than others. And those 2 names stand out, but Mitch Moreland, especially here, has been outstanding.
You always seem to remember the guys that do it in your ballpark. Especially in this ballpark, which is generally known as a pitcher's park. And the A's always have pretty good pitching. 1-2 to Moreland with Anderson in the on-deck circle.
It's great to have fly ball pitchers with speed in the outfield, and at nighttime when the ball doesn't carry. But that's not good in daytime. And I think Chu, because I was shocked the ball carried as well as it did, but that's day baseball, and it's much different. But it was a big one.
That game in Houston is now Indians 5, Astros nothing. Top of the 8th inning, and it is still a no-hitter. Trevor Bauer did not come out for the bottom of the 7th. The Indians went to the bullpen. So they will try for a combined no-hitter. And Ray Fosse, you know.
Yeah, they could have 4 pitchers because you figure 1 per inning to try to close it out. Hey, Terry Francona will be happy just for the win. They were shut out in the opener. They shut out the Astros in game 2.
The Astros a while back had a combined no-hitter. Remember, I think it was at Yankee Stadium, right? 12 years ago. Sogard, nice play to his left, throws out Moreland. Rua goes to third.
Now batting, number 1, Elvis Andrews.
So with the runner at third, 1 out, A's will bring the infield halfway, and Andrus will hit. Andrus 0 for 3 today, and 2 for 13 in this series. First pitch is a fastball in for a strike.
Evan Scribner, one of several A's relievers who's added a cut fastball to his repertoire, and he throws it very well. Of course, a good curveball that he throws, fastball, but the cutter is a pitch that really has defined him as a little bit more. There it is. Looking at Jesse Hahn. Jesse he's developing a slider. I said, what about a cutter? And he says, I just don't have that finish. And it's a little bit different for a cutter and a true slider. It's all about the wrist. It's the curveball, which signature pitch for Scribner. Trying to get a strikeout, and Hahn did that Tuesday night, striking out Moreland with the runner in third, less than 2 outs.
Anders spoiled a pretty good pitch there from Scribner. Just kind of reached for it a little bit.
Cut fastball just enough to take it off the sweet part of the bat. In this case, just off the end of the bat of Elvis Andrus.
Fouled straight back just below us. So the count remains 1-2. Laurie scoops it up, checks the runner. 2 outs. Laurie fielded it, took a glance at Rua.
Yeah, Kev, a lot of times teams in the A's will see the Angels many times, as well as the Rangers and everybody else in the Western Division. They usually break on contact with 1 out in the infield. You can hear the Elvis Andrus displeasure with that swing, but you know, you go on contact, that probably been an out, but there are times a high chop, you have the runner going on contact from third base, less than 2 outs and a ground ball, infield in. Angels seem to find a way to score a run. That's a big out for Scribner, especially after the 2-base error to start.
Trying to get Odor, and it's 0-2 to Rougned Odor, who has popped to short, and then he was hit by a pitch in the 4th, and he scored on Chu's 3-run homer. It's the inning that knocked Kendall Graveman out of the game. More action for Laurie, right at him, scoops it, throws, side retired. So the air does not hurt Scribner. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Butler to lead it off. 8-0 Rangers lead.
TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Bottom of the 5th inning, and Billy Butler to lead it off. He'll be followed by Davis and Laurie. Credit to Nick Martinez, the 24-year-old right-hander. He's been good today. A's have just 2 hits. He has not walked anybody. He's got 3 strikeouts, and he's induced a couple of double plays.
Which means he's faced the minimum in 4 innings. And that 2-0 slider with an 8-run lead, that's where hitters have to be a little bit careful, because they assume the lead, the score is going to dictate what the pitch is going to be. And there's a pretty good slider. Billy looking fastball, and takes a little walk away, maybe adjusts his thinking.
That's frustrating for a hitter. You take the 2-0, or you swing at the 2-0 curve. Next pitch, you take it in for a strike. Sinking fastball right in under the hands, and Butler swings and misses. So Martinez moving it around pretty good today.
Well, the back-to-back breaking pitches, and a 2-seamer down and in, and Billy Butler swinging over
first baseman, for 17.
And you'd have to wonder, Nick Martinez sailing along, what would a run do? You know, he's find a way. And then, of course, on Tuesday night, trailing 3-0, got a run on the board, had bases loaded, 1 out, couldn't capitalize on that, but just try to find a way to get on the board and see what happens at that point if it affects the pitcher. Right now, nothing's affecting Nick Martinez.
Lenny Martinez went to Fordham University. Of course, that's in New York. But when in college, he really didn't pitch much. He was an infielder. Pitched a little bit, but then gets to the big leagues as a starting pitcher.
He's in that rare company of the Rangers to make his first appearance as a Ranger in the rotation.
From Florida.
Stu Gonzalez high live.
That's right. So usually when you're a high school player and you're looking for a college to go to, you usually go from cold weather to warm weather. Yeah. Well, he went from warm weather to cold weather.
We'll have to ask him if that's always ever offered.
That's true. Maybe he didn't have a choice.
Yeah. But growing up in Florida, you would think he'd find a way to stay in Florida.
Yeah, there's some choices there. Junior colleges.
Right. I mean, warm weather schools typically for college baseball are the best.
Strike 3 called. Davis drops his bat right at home plate. So 5 strikeouts now for Nick Martinez.
Well, it's the lower part of the strike zone that we saw earlier that Adam Amari was calling, and Nick Davis could not believe it. Matter of fact, he had one called earlier that he was upset with. The pitch was down in the zone. This one a little bit higher than that one, but yeah, I guess the old saying, close on 3 and 2, you better be swinging. And Ike Davis thought it was ball 4, but called strike 3. One of the second 3-ball count that he's had today.
Seven in a row retired by Martinez. He is rolling along.
What do you think the next pitch is going to be?
It's going to have a wrinkle to it.
It's going to
have a spin to it.
It's a waist slider away.
Nice job of hitting. Laurie went down to get it. So maybe he was looking for it.
He should have been, and you can see Corporate move way outside after giving. He had to give the sign twice for Martinez to accept it, but he moved way outside, but he hung it. And instead of throwing in the dirt, trying to get a swing and miss on a bad pitch, he left it up a little bit too much, and you're right. Brett Lloyd went out, looked for it, and raked it to left center.
Here's Kenna, who had a single off the wall in left field in the 3rd inning. And a line drive right over Rua's head. The ball bounced right off the wall right back to Rua. That's why Canna only got a single. There's that big swing from Mark Canna.
It was special last night, Kat, because we got a chance to see two rookies making the major league debuts and coming up big in Canna and Leidendorf. And last year the A's only used two rookies. Did not have a rookie on the opening day roster. 5 this year. Got in Billy Burns, who was optioned out with the addition of Cody Ross last night. That said a lot about the youngsters playing. Alvarez, who we saw pitch last night, was one of them.
Right to Elvis Andrus. Shuffles it to second, side retired. A hit for the A's, nothing else. We're headed to the 6th inning on a sunny day at the Coliseum. 8-0 Texas. Bay Area, lots of A's news, highlights, and clubhouse reaction. Also, first round highlights from the Masters. Jordan Spieth off to a huge start. If you had him in your Masters pool, well, you're happy right now. Who? Jordan Spieth, 7 under through 13.
Did you have him?
No, I did not. I did not. But I would imagine when we bring skies one to shallow right. And Zober scraps it. But I would imagine when we have our A's Community Fund Golf Classic later on this summer, somehow Ray Fosse's group will probably have Jordan Spieth in their group because they are the ultimate. Let's go get the best player, and then they win, and then they, you know, everybody knows you're going to win.
But you know, right?
It's King of the Ringers. That's what we should call your group, King of the Ringers.
We don't have to go to the pro level, though. We got some amateurs that we're just as good.
Everybody sits there and they know Ray's group is going to win, but they just wait for what pro's going to come in and play in Ray's force.
Come on. That's Blue Moon. But you know what? Speaking last night, I get a message from Blue Moon Odom. We're talking about great hitting pitchers for the A's, and guess what? Our good friend Blue Moon Odom, they said, "Hey Ray, I could hit too." Thank you, Mooney.
Laurie, just missed it, popped out of his glove. Great effort by Brett Laurie.
I tell you what, you see a lot of guys will catch the ball and go on the slide. Laurie, actually, watch him. He will slide a long run, but as he goes into the slide, he's trying to catch it from the slide. That is tough. He slid about 5 to 6 feet and then put the glove, trying to concentrate catch, and just didn't. By the way, that glove that we highlighted last night, 2011, same one. That's a great effort. He's going to cover that ground throughout the season, and he'll get used to it a little bit more.
Martin strikes out. Scribner pitching well.
Well, Evan Scribner and Jesse Chavez was up in the first inning. Evan Scribner coming on in the fourth inning, and you have both who are very capable of doing exactly this. And let's say hypothetically this is a game in which he pitches 3 or 4 innings. Jesse Chavez, if necessary, could do the same tomorrow night. I hope that is not the case with Drew Pomeranz pitching and the A's facing the Mariners, but that is the great part about having some length in the bullpen.
It's good effort right there.
Listen, Cliff Clavin loves it when we highlight these guys showing all the dirt on the uniforms, because he is the master of getting it.
So good inning, 3 up, 3 down for Evan Scribner. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Sogard to lead it off. 8-0 Texas.
Rewind for Kendall Graveman, his major league debut as a starter. First game for the Athletics, and it did not go particularly well as Prince Fielder with a base hit to center field to drive home a run. This is the big blow. It was 3-0, but then Mitch Moreland opposite field 2-run home run, and then Sin-Soo Choo a 3-run high fly ball that just barely made it over the yellow line. 3-run home run. So a tough afternoon for Mr. Graveman, but should get some more starts. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT, mobilizing your world.
Sogard to lead it off. And the first pitch outside. A 1-1 the count, excuse me. Sogard hit into a 4-6-3 double play in his first and only at bat. 5 strikeouts, no walks. 3 hits allowed for Nick Martinez in his first start. Pitch number 67 coming up. That game in Houston, it's still a no-hitter. It's the Indians 5, the Astros nothing. Indians are batting in the top of the 9th, so 3 outs away from what will be a combined no-hitter if the Tribe can pull it off.
Yeah, you have to tell us now. Have you used different pitchers from the 7th, 8th, and now the 9th? Sure. The brilliant one will give us all that information. 3 pitchers here, so they have it closed the 9th, so it'll be a 4 pitcher.
Yep. 3-2 to Sogard. Foul back. Indians no hitters. Of course, you caught X at 77. Len Barker had the perfect game in 1981.
Caught by Ron Hansey. Ron Hansey, the only catcher to ever catch 2 perfect games.
Huh.
Dennis Martinez, the Expos, and Len Barker, as you mentioned. Was it Archie? Rick Manning caught the final out in center field. Your brother drove in the only run in that no-hitter pitched by Eck.
That's right. Sogard with the leadoff walk. So we'll let you know what happens in Houston if the Indians can pull off the combined no-hitter.
Now, the biggest bat for the A's is right now, because each time it seems that a runner's reached base to lead off an inning. Matter of fact, 2 outs in the first, or 1 out in the first in a double play, and a leadoff single in the third double play. And see if Marcus Semien can get it going to the bottom of the order.
First pitch low to Simeon, who struck out in the 3rd inning.
Of course, it was Rapid Robert Feller who pointed that on Monday night, 1940, opening night.
That's right.
Opening day, no hitter, the only one in Major League Baseball, no hitter on opening day. And a very happy and relieved Kurt Young and Bob Melvin. Never seen two guys so happy to see a hit given up in the 8th inning. And just like Terry Francona today, I mean, that was really no big deal today. When a pitcher's thrown over 100 after 6 innings, you know he's not going to be there.
Trevor Bauer went the first 6 innings in that game. The young starter for the Indians, and he walked 5 and struck out 11, and he gone way too many pitches for 6 innings. Bounced behind 3rd. Nice play by Beltre. Throws to 2nd, and they're going to call him out. Say the ball came out of Odor's glove on the exchange from glove to throwing hand. Doug Eddings, second base umpire.
Amazing how that rule was changed last year, and this would have been one that might not have stayed the same, but he was making the throw. Second baseman usually did not handle the ball for a long time, and the transfer never really got it in his hand to make the throw. He actually caught it, which would have been the force out there, but the transfer right there.
See, I think it's an interesting play, and it's such a bang play. But even there, where the ball went into his glove, but he never had. That's right. He never really caught the ball. And
that last shot was a great one that showed that the ball moved around in his glove. And you're right, as he put his hand in, the ball wasn't there.
And again, I mean, that's difficult to see if you're an umpire, but you watch, he never catches the ball.
Yeah, look at the ball in the glove, and it rolls around as he puts his hand in. It continues to roll in the webbing, and then out. So you're right. I mean, that really is not a catch.
And you know, when the second baseman's turning the double play, the ball's not in his glove very long, but he still is catching it for a split second. Rua, right in front of the wall, makes the catch as Sam Fuld hit that ball well. But that's the second out.
I always talk about a second baseman glove. It's almost like what Ron Washington used for his infielders, which is the old pancake style catcher's mitt with a very small pocket, because it uses just like a sounding board to catch a ball and it just pops right up. Yeah. I mean, you do not want a big glove at second base. You can see the one that Odor is using. Sogard the same way at second. The smaller the glove, the better, because as you put your hand in, you can find the ball easier. Bigger glove as outfielders use. You don't have to worry about reaching in and turning a quick double play.
So here's Vogt, who takes a strike on the outside corner.
There's your small glove. It is very small, and third base not so big, a little bit bigger, but second base definitely probably the smallest glove used by an infielder.
Martin hustling in, and Leonis Martin covers a lot of ground in center field, makes the catch. Side retired. A's do nothing with the leadoff walk. 7th inning coming up. 30th, 1998. That is Adrian Beltre. His first major league home run. He was with the Dodgers. It came against the Texas Rangers. At the time, he was the youngest player to make his debut in the National League. 19 years old, Adrian Beltre. And we've had this conversation before, Ray, whether we think he's a Hall of Famer. Those are active hits. And he is third on the active hits leaders, 2,605. He has 395 career home runs. He's got multiple gold gloves. And I think when it's all said and done, however long he plays, I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I
agree with you. I think it's going to happen. And you can see that first home run wearing the number 29, and he's been able to keep it.
He's 35 years old, actually 36 now. This is his 17th year in the big leagues.
Well, he signed in 11, 5 years with the Rangers with an option. The Rangers said to heck with the vesting and all that, just picked it up. So he's now signed through 16, which is very smart on the Rangers' part.
So you figure, I mean, for sure he's going to play 2 more years. He's going to be productive, I believe, if he doesn't get hurt.
This is him. Big swing on a curveball, and a lot of times he'll go down to the knee and watch it leave the yard. This time he's swinging a miss and spin around and pop back up.
And he does it again and belts one toward left center field. Are you serious?
You're kidding me. But that's him.
All right, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yes, he is.
That was impressive, folks.
I mean, it's almost like he deked him with that big swing on the curveball, screwed himself to the ground, came back and did it again. So 0 for the first 3, 2 hits today.
Number 84.
And watch this swing. Comes back with the old curveball, and this was a one that was down a little bit, did not hit the ground, but it went down to the one knee and it left the yard, almost just like I said, unfortunately. He's done that too often here. He's very good.
The Rangers did not hit a home run the first 3 games of this series, and they have hit 3 today. I noticed too about Beltre, Ray. Last year, the Rangers were it was just a miserable season. They lost 95 games. Guys were injured all over the place. Beltre played a lot. There's 396 now as he's tied with Joe Carter, closing in on 400. Prince Fielder's going to have a hit, but Beltre, when we played against him, still having a ball, laughing, having fun, still playing hard. And that's something we've enjoyed about Beltre over the years, is he has so much fun playing.
Well, I think that's why the Rangers and John Daniels, general manager and ownership, decided, why mess around and decide if we are not going to pick up the option? Let's just do it and know that he's been the veteran leader in this ball club. And you know, the one year he went to Boston after leaving the Mariners, he did not play that well in Seattle. Went to Boston for 1 year, had a tremendous year, and then
he doesn't like it when you touch his head. He's fun. He is fun to watch play. Terrific player.
But he plays every day, and even last year you could see, and we saw right down to the end how well he played, even though so many players and so many veterans hurt out of for the season. But he was the one that stayed in, continued to play. And you have to be very impressed with somebody that, even though it's a tough year, they continue to play hard.
And fastball, Rui swings and misses. And Ryan Wu strikes out. So 1 out here in the 7th inning. Well, in Houston, the Indians got the first out in the bottom of the 9th, and then our old friend Jed Lowry had a home run.
Did he?
Yeah, so the no-hitter is gone.
Who gave it up? Hagedorn?
Left-hander. That's right, Nick Hagedorn. Came on to try to get the final 3 outs, finish a combined no-hitter, but Lowry, right-handed, hit 1 out.
So with a 5-run lead, he would not be the closer, right?
No, so they got the Allen.
Yeah, that's right. Tito, you got to put your closer in with a 5-run lead. Forget about a save. You're trying to pitch a no-no.
Serious. So Jed Lowry, who signed a 3-year contract in the offseason with the Astros. gets him on the board. So Indians leading 5-1. 1 out away from a victory.
I started mentioning a little bit before. Yu Darvish had a perfect game in his first start a couple of years ago, and it was in Houston. Ball went through his legs, and then in the 9th inning, and that was a tough decision to keep him in or not. They did, and gave up the perfecto and the no-hitter.
The Royals beat the White Sox today 4-1. 3-game sweep, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Edison Volquez, a free agent signing by the Royals, pitched 8 innings. Beating John Danks. Salvador Perez hit a home run.
For a White Sox team opening on the road, and a team that some experts felt they were going to be playing for everything. But losing 3 straight, and while it's just the first 3 of the season, doesn't mean it's going to be a tough one, but not a way to start the season.
Now the White Sox will head home, and they will have their home opener tomorrow against the Minnesota Twins. Good swing by Moreland, foul.
Speaking of the Twins, have been shut out again. Do you know that in the first 2 games, the Twins did not have a runner reach third base in the first 2 games?
Huh.
Paul Molitor, the new manager, and was it Molitor who got his 3,000th hit on a triple, and yet his first year managing, he can't get a run to third.
Welcome to big league managing.
Yeah, you lose your #1 starting pitcher and your #2. Alvarez again, who pitched last night, up in the bullpen. Ricky Nolasco maybe has a little elbow issue now.
Canna coming in and over, and he tracks it down. So that's the second out. Now the Royals, after sweeping the White Sox at home, the Royals will head to Anaheim. So they will have a 3-game series down south coming up tomorrow. Maybe the Angels thinking about a little payback from the postseason. The Angels had the best record in baseball and came rolling into the postseason, and the Royals took charge and swept them. And that was in the division series.
Yeah, they beat the A's, swept the Angels, and then Orioles. They played in the league championship series. They didn't lose in 4 games to them.
Nope. Elvis Andrus is 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3 times. Once into that crazy 5-4, 2-5, 2-6 double play that ended the first inning. So 2-2 the count. Pitch there by Evan Scribner, who has now thrown 58 pitches out of the bullpen. He came in with 1 out in the 4th inning. He's given up just 1 run. That was Beltre home run. Right field, Zober spins around. Now comes in a couple steps. He's got it side retired. Adrian Beltre, career home run number 396. And the Rangers lead 9-0 as we reach the 7th inning stretch.
presented by authority of the Oakland Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Rangers 9, A's nothing. It's the bottom of the 7th inning, and a very nice day here in the East Bay. Zobrist swings at the first pitch. Hits it toward first, right near the bag. Moreland grabs it, steps on the bag, and Zobrist is 0 for 3.
Designated hitter, number 16.
One away for Butler here in the bottom of the 7th. Nick Martinez, the story today. And just 79 pitches. Rangers will head home after today's game, and they will have their home opener tomorrow against the Houston Astros. Rangers early part of their schedule are on the road a lot. 12 of their first 18 games are on the road. Billy Butler, a pop out to first, a strikeout. And a swing and miss, and that pitch running in on the hands of Butler. He's missed a couple times today. Martinez, see if he keeps going back in there. Billy Butler using the pants up look today. So you got striped socks, but you also have the camouflage guard. There's a lot going on there. Billy Butler rips one into left for a hit. Hit number 4 for the A's.
The 4 hits have come with 2 strikes. A pretty good adjustment by Billy Butler with a breaking ball. Did not go back the 2-seamer down and in to Butler, which struck him out last time. But the A's have just not been able to put anything together to try to get a big inning going.
So here's Ike Davis. He's had a tough afternoon. Couple of strikeouts. One swinging, one's looking. So he gets his 3rd look at Nick Martinez. The minor leagues get started tonight. All around baseball. A's AAA affiliate Nashville Sounds will be in Colorado Springs. Hope the weather's okay there. That would not be a great place to open up, Colorado Springs.
Did you say Barry Zito started? Friday, okay.
Chris Bassett is starting tonight, the right-hander. You saw quite a bit in spring training.
Actually, pretty good team for Steve Scarsone, AAA manager.
So good luck to the Nashville Sounds under Steve Scarsone. Stockton, the A's single-A affiliate in the California League, will open up at Inland Empire. Josh Reddick will be playing with Stockton tonight.
I gave Steve Scarsone a couple of names. Brian Hill's down in Nashville, and got some. He has Toby Keith that he manages, and Chuck Morgan is the PA announcer for Texas for the Rangers, and he also broadcasts for the Nashville Sounds. So I gave him a couple calls and I said, take care of Steve Scarsone of the Nashville Sounds, your new team down there.
That's right. Well, people who have been to Nashville, I have never been there, unfortunately, but they said it's a wonderful town.
Absolutely. And they have a brand new stadium, so it's going to work well. And I think there is an airline that flies directly from Nashville into the Bay Area in case they need, the A's need someone to.
You've been talking to Mickey Morabito.
Right, absolutely.
Ike Davis with a walk, his 4th walk this year.
Yeah, there's your first in the game for the Athletics. That's putting 2 runners on in the same inning.
Third baseman, Brett Laurie.
So maybe this is an inning. Mike Maddox making a trip to the mound.
So Laurie to hit. The A's will have to make a Keone Kela starts to throw a roster decision when Reddick comes back at some point this weekend.
Josh Reddick, as we've mentioned, is eligible for Saturday. That would be the first game he's eligible to come back, or the first day. This left-hander Happ is going to be starting for the A's. Let's see what the A's decide to do, but Josh Reddick, probably the best thing that did happen. As much as you don't want to start the season on the DL and not be here for opening night, he needed to get some at-bats in the oblique injury.
Or he cannot hold up on that breaking ball, chased it. But it's a busy place, the A's disabled list at this point. Not just busy with the quantity of names, but pretty good players on that list. Center field, Martin in front of the wall. He grabs it. So Laurie puts a charge into it. It's out number 2 with Butler going to third. There's the names on the disabled list. Boy, you just think about Doolittle, an all-star closer. Parker and Griffin, you hope to get them back in season. Sean Nolan, one of the youngsters the A's acquired from the Blue Jays. Coco, Reddick, Nate Fryman. This could never get healthy in spring training, so it's a long list. And at some point, those guys will start trickling back into the big league roster.
OPDLS, that's pretty good. But I think Jared Parker, the clean-shaven Jared Parker, is going to be to the right there. He's going to be the quickest to come back following Reddick, the position player. Parker is really accelerating his comeback.
Canna swings and fouls it to the screen with Davis taken off on the pitch. 2 outs, first and third.
Well, he's not being held at first, like Davis. So not surprised that he took off. Canna go swinging at the first pitch, has to go back. But there's a time where you see the guy taking off, they're giving it to him, take a pitch, get 2 runners in scoring position where a single could score both and get the A's started on a comeback.
Canna to left into the glove of Rua. Side retired. A's strand 2. Moving on to the 8th. All Rangers this afternoon. They lead 9-0.
Continue tomorrow night with the Mariners this Saturday, April 11th against Seattle. 10,000 fans will receive the one-of-a-kind A's pet calendar courtesy of Central Garden and Pet. See photos of your favorite A's players with their 4-legged friends. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets. And might offer a suggestion. Get that calendar because it has a list of all the games for the A's season. Get a chance to see some of the favorite players and their four-legged friends. See our games at RMB Comcast Sportsnet California and enjoy that wonderful calendar all season long. And if you can't, send somebody out to the calendar and watch us on Comcast Sportsnet California. We'll be there.
Odor swings at the first pitch he sees. Gone. R.J. Alvarez comes in, throws one pitch, and the Rangers have hit 4 home runs today. Odor is the man who connects here.
Rangers saw Alvarez last night. He threw hard. And Odor, it's a low fastball, slightly moving towards the outside, but he's looking fastball, and the youngster didn't miss it. And that was a no doubt. I don't think there was any doubt that was going to leave the yard. Nice swing, and that quickly it left.
Here's Corcoran. So R.J. Alvarez indeed comes in when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Break down on R.J. Alvarez. Inning last night, a hit and a couple of strikeouts. So do you think, Ray, team like the Rangers, they see Alvarez last night? Sure, they got all the scouting reports on him, but now they saw some video and maybe say there's some changes with Gentry and Wright and Leidendorf at third. Or maybe they say, hey, you know what? This guy throws a little harder than we thought. Or maybe the guys who faced him pass some information on.
Well, they might have gotten a velocity, but until you get to the plate, you don't really know how hard a guy's throwing. And Odor that time just figured he's going to get a fastball, looked for it and got it.
Fastball there. Corcoran swings and misses.
A changeup last night, that one that bottom dropped out of it, or looked like a splitter, but he said it was a changeup.
Number 2,
he incorporated into
Martin.
his selection of pitches. This was a fastball running away, and said he threw it last year. Said, I might as well just keep it. And man, it's a dive bomber, just straight over the top and straight down.
Top of the order in Martin, who's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run score. Good fastball there, in on the hands of Martin. Laurie grabs it, or make that Leidendorf grabs it. 2 outs.
Well, the versatility of Leidendorf last night started at second. Moved the outfield, playing at third. We're in a pretty impressive number 25. That was a big power hitting number. The guy who wore number 25 successfully here is going to be coming in a little bit later as a hitting coach with the Dodgers. And there will be a Mark McGwire bobblehead. That's right. Honoring Big Mac and his monster home runs. It's a number on the back of Tyler Leidendorf. There's a changeup. It's a good pitch. Get down.
It was great to see where Tyler Leidendorf said his mother and his grandmother were here last night to see his major league debut. First at bat, he had the triple. They're from Illinois, Chicago area.
Well,
they were heading home today, but you know what? Go home today, because what you saw last night, there's only one major league debut.
Well, and Tyler was saying, and it's unfortunate we couldn't find them in the stands. We were looking, but could not find them to show them. But Tyler knew they were there and had a big smile for them. This is a triple, first major league at bat. Fastball, pulled the hands in, smoked to the left center, and he could run. That was a run batted in as he hit second, went on to third. And you know, it's almost like guys going to the World Series and winning World Championship, guys who have been there can't wait for somebody to experience what they've experienced. It's the same thing last night. He gets his first major league hit. You could see all the guys in the top step cheering him on. And you should have seen some of the baseballs last night.
Can you read some of the things?
No, I can't. The actual, you know, you saw Coco walking upstairs. Well, Steve Vucinich had the actual baseball authenticated by Dominic in a nice baggie. But the baseballs that were in their lockers, they were hilarious. And no, you can't talk about it on a family show. But they were something that, you know, different colors and had the pitcher's name wrong. And You know, I said to Canna something about top of the wall is your best bolt, you know, something like that.
Chu strikes out, but Rougned Odor with the home run, 4th home run of the day for the Rangers, and they lead 10-0. Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 10-0. The Rangers lead the Athletics as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Nick Martinez is done for the day. He was very, very good. 7 shutout innings on 95 pitches. And the Rangers, no home runs through the first 3 games, but 4 home runs today. Beltre, Moreland, Chu, and Odor. And all Rangers this afternoon. A's 2 more chances, as it's to the bullpen for Texas when it's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Keone Kela. So the numbers from Tuesday night when he made his major league debut. Got himself in a jam and then got himself out of a jam. He was thrown right into the mix of a tight ball game.
Well, the A's had a chance to get him. Had the bases loaded and 1 out. It was a double play.
Sogard flips one into left center field, and he's got a hit. So Eric Sogard walking a single today.
Number 10.
A good opposite field hitting, and a take it inside out swing by Sogard. Another hitter for the A's to lead off an inning with a hit. Well, a good friend. Of course, we talk about the passing of Lon Simmons, but I remember Lon's greatest statement: "The club would be down like this," and he'd say, "What a story this will be." He would always say that. And there are times the A's would come back and overtake a lead like today, which is now 10. But it takes getting on the board, and unfortunately, the A's have not been able to get on the board yet.
Check swing by Simeon. Simeon today a strikeout, and then he reached on a fielder's choice in the 6th.
Tyler Clippard's going to get an inning.
Yeah.
Finally.
He's the only reliever who has not pitched yet. Drive to left. Rua back. It's over his head, and it's up against the wall. And now the ball's kicked around out in left field, and they're going to wave home Sogard, and he's going to score. So Rua could not pick it up. Sogard was going to stop at 3rd, but Mike Gallegos looking out there saw Rua kicking it around, and then he waved him home. So we'll see what the ruling is. Should probably be an error on the left field.
A great swing by Marcus Simeon on a fastball left up by this young man over the head of Rua. But you're right, because down 10 runs, you're not going to take any chances. But Rua, for some reason, decided to try to barehand and missed it. Wrong decision. You have to know the score also as an outfielder. Then he overthrows the cutoff man. But Really, the important thing right there is for a base runner to pay attention to your coach. Mike Gallego was watching the ball. As a runner, you get to third base. In this case, for Sogard, he picked up Gallego, who continued to have him run. Very bad decision by Rual. Should have been second and third, nobody out, but his error helped the A's score a run. So Sogard just said, I'll get to third base, and then Mike Gallego said, let's go. He missed it, so you're going to score.
So the A's are on the board here in the bottom of the 8th inning, now 10-1, and Sam Fuld steps up. 2 fly balls to left and a fly ball to right for Fuld, so 0 for 3.
They haven't put the air up on the board yet. I can't believe they're saying a double, but nothing about it. Well, that's... I think we showed the replay a few times when he tried to barehand it.
I think it's an error. It's a double and an error.
It should be an error.
Because Sogard was not going to score. Right. And the reason he was waved in was because Rua dropped the ball.
Well, here's where the official score again to see that he tried to barehand. And instead of catching with his glove, as Sogard was stopping at third. But regardless, the A's got to run and trying to keep it going.
2-2 the count to Fuld with Vogt in the on-deck circle. Bounced right back to Keller, who takes a quick peek at Simeon, who dives back into second base. Fuld is retired. Nice play by Keller. That ball may have snuck into center field. Here you get a pinch hitter. Fegley's going to hit for Vogt.
Ladies and gentlemen, batting for Stephen Vogt, number 19, Josh Fegley.
So Vogt was 1 for 3.
I don't think this is a case of resting Stephen Vogt, other than maybe, remember, he is returning to the catching position for the first time this year in a while. Last year, bothered by the foot, could not catch late. So, chance for Fegley to come in. And skipper, former catcher himself, realizes it's been a long day for Stephen Vogt. Give him an inning 2 off.
1-1 the count. Nick Martinez, 7 innings of shutout baseball today for Texas. Rangers have to be thrilled with that. Fegley pops it up. Orland backpedals a couple steps. He grabs it for out number 2.
Yeah, it is amazing, and today was proven that the Rangers, who the visiting team, down 2 games to 1, as Jeffrey gets his first at bat. But when you're the visiting team, you can do something special in the first inning before your pitcher takes the mound, as opposed to a 1-2-3. All of a sudden, it puts a little bit added pressure on the pitcher if his club doesn't score. In this case, Martinez, recipient of 3 runs for Jeff Bannister, trying to even his first managerial record is even before they head home. And today, the first inning seemed to be the one that got the A's off on the wrong foot.
A's were a little sloppy.
Yep, not able to recover.
Gentry looking for his first hit of 2015. A slow start, 0 for 11 with 4 strikeouts.
A guy named Richie Scheinblum.
I remember the name. How could you forget that name?
Well, he can't forget starting at 0 for 34 to start the season either. That's
Richie Scheinblum.
Yeah, he was back when they had the Kansas City Royals. They would draft players from different teams to make up the team against the Royals. They take players from each team. And the Royals ended up taking a guy named Lou Piniella. And the Indians protected Richie Scheinblum. Made Lou Piniella available, and you talk about a great career he had as a player, many years with the Yankees, but he was with the Royals.
Richie Scheinblum makes me want to look him up, find out what kind of career he had, because I do remember his name.
It wasn't much.
It wasn't much.
He was a great guy, but he just did not have a great career. Nicest guy in the world. Name stayed out, stayed in my mind for sure.
Just a little bit low. Gentry walks.
Have they ever announced that that was not just a plain double and no RBI and all that? It's a BI?
16.
No error on the board still. That's pretty amazing with all the errors given last night.
Well, then it's got to be a double and an RBI. It's got to be an RBI.
Well, if they haven't put up an error, yeah.
So Billy Butler with a couple of runners on and 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Tigers leading the Twins 3-0. That game in the 3rd inning after they had a long delay to start that game. It's Ramon Mendez.
So that's 21 innings for the Twins without scoring a run to start the season.
Yeah. For Paul Molitor, it probably feels twice as long.
Well, that was nice in spring training that 2 Hall of Famers got to manage against each other. Ryan Sandberg of the Phillies and Molitor with the Twins.
Inside to Billy Butler. Butler had a base hit to left field in the 7th when the A's put a couple of runners on but could not score. Missed again, 2-0. Tony Kellen made his major league debut on Tuesday, so part of a very young Rangers bullpen. Low strike, didn't have to be called. And now it's 2-2 to Butler. Simeon at second, Gentry at first.
Well, one thing Butler does a good job, and he just took a breaking pitch, and I'm setting fastball, but now 2 strikes as we saw in his last at bat with a 2-strike slider. Hit it hard to left field for a base hit. It's a smart hitter. Let's see what he's looking for here.
A little bit of a hanger, but he bounces it to Beltre, who flips it across. Side retired. A's get a run, so they're on the board. 9th inning coming up. It's the Texas Rangers 10 and the Athletics 1.
Sportsnet California is brought to you by Toyota, Let's Go Places, and by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
10-1, the Rangers lead the A's. We have reached the 9th inning here at the Coliseum. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. Here is Tyler Clippard. So his first appearance with the Athletics. Terrific season last year. It was an all-star season for Clippard with the Washington Nationals. The many acquisitions made by the A's in the offseason. Clippard is 30 years old. And he's good. Fegley stays in the game as the catcher. Beltre skies one toward right center. And Fold grabs it for out number 1. Clippard's been an all-star a couple times in his career.
Nice to have somebody with that 34 in the saves column and all-star with the Nationals. So with Sean Doolittle on the disabled list, Tyler Clippard, who can step into the role without any issues, and not had a chance to pitch in the first 3 games. So Bob Melvin gets him an inning in this game. It's a very good idea.
But Clippard, just looking at his career, he's never been on the disabled list. He was a closer 1 year. That was 2012 when he had 32 saves. But the other years, he's just been really one of the top setup men in all of baseball. He's going to get Prince Fielder on a very high pop up to shallow center. As you look at Clippard's games pitched, starting in 2010, which was really his first full year in the big leagues, 78, 72, 74, 72, 75. So you get into the 70s every year. That is durability. Saw that with Luke Gregerson, just lots of appearances, but no time on the disabled list.
And when he's pitching, we can do a split screen of Clippard and Sogard both wearing glasses.
Rua goes after the first pitch. Fold hustling over, and he's not going to be able to get it, and it trickles just a little bit past Gentry, and Rua's going to hustle with a double.
Single E8.
So it will go as a double. So Rua has 3 hits today. Sam Fold looked like he may have just misjudged that one a little bit.
Yeah, he was fooled on it as it went down. He knows it, but it took the quick direction to the ground, I think a little bit quicker than he thought, because did not stay up. And then at that point, tried to backhand and knock it down. He missed it, and then momentarily got past Gentry, who's backing up.
So Moreland will get a chance to hit. Moreland, a sacrifice fly in the first, a 2-run homer in the third, a ground out in the 5th, a fly ball in the left in the 7th. So he's 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Getting back to Clippard, he was originally a New York Yankee. He was drafted by the Yankees in 2003. And he got to the big leagues with New York in 2007 and was traded to the Nationals. There they are. Nerd power.
Double nerd power. There's your split screen. 2 players on the A's on the same field of the 9 wearing glasses. As Clippard about it, he does wear contacts, but he says his eyes dry out so much that wearing glasses, and plus if something gets in his eyes with the contacts, but with glasses, he just wipes the glasses and he prefers to pitch this way. He's got a great changeup, and he just threw it the 1-0 pitch to Moreland that he took for a strike. Once again.
And he's kind of right over top.
Teammate of our good friend Gio Gonzalez last year and last couple of years in Washington. Gio, 20-game winner a couple of years ago. Signed a nice long contract with the Nationals. They locked him up, and a lot of expectations for the Nationals this year.
And the 3-1 pitch is in the dirt. So Moreland walks, 2 on 2 out for Elvis Andrus. It's a bit of a unique delivery, though, right, Ray?
Right over the top, and he does square himself up. The changeup that was in the dirt, and
Elvis.
You know, he's got it first base open, powerful left hand in the on deck circle. So he went about 3 changeups to him. Ended up walking him. But early in the season, important to get guys in the lineup and get them a chance to get their feet wet. So I'd say that with Clippard in the game, mostly not all the guys have already been in for some sort of a reason in this series.
Looks like Ramon Mendez is going to be the guy to try to wrap it up for Texas. Andrus is 0 for 4, so he has not joined in the Rangers hit parade today, which hit total now at 12. 4 home runs hit by Texas.
Well, when you're starting a 2015 season with an 8-year contract kicking in, you got to be around a while.
Should be relaxed, that's for sure.
Absolutely. That's pretty good security.
Yes, it is.
Young player, and it's not an extension that starts this year. 8 years.
And if I remember correctly, the amount of money wasn't one of those hometown discounts either. It was over $100 million, was it not? Missed again. Now 2-2 the count. So Tyler Clippard will work his way out of a jam. Rua at second, Moreland at first. Anders fouls it just to our right. The crowd this afternoon, 16,045. On a beautiful day.
Couple more day games over the weekend. After that
game tomorrow. Hit high in the air. Canna shading his eyes, and he's got it. So Andrus 0 for 5 today. 9th inning, last shot for the A's. They trail 10-1.
Nick Martinez, what a job he did. Got 3-run support in the first inning, and he took it to the house and got a couple of double plays in the first 3 innings, and ended up going 7 strong innings. And Horford, his catcher, did a good job of mixing pitches up and even when he fell behind 2-0, in some cases came in with a breaking ball. So Nick Martinez in line for his first win after being defeated by the Athletics last year on game 162 in Arlington. He comes back his first start against the same team that beat him last year in the final day of the season, and Roman Mendez will try to finish it out for the Rangers.
Facing Ike Davis, bottom of the ninth. Ike Davis, fastball to hit, fouls it into the upper deck.
Ike Davis not going to wait around for a two-strike, low strike, and called out.
He has struck out a couple times today, and he has walked. Hayes with 6 hits in the game. The Rangers with 12. Low strike called there, and it's 0-2. Davis overall now 1 for 8 on the season. Check swing or roller. Stay foul. Not a full shift for Davis, but Odor is out on the grass in right field, and Andrus slid over to his left quite a ways. Beltre over to his left quite a ways as well, but the outfield shifted toward left center. Davis has power everywhere. And he's hoping to see that power this year. One-two pitch outside corner, strike 3 call. Perfectly placed pitch by Mendez for the first out.
That's a tough day when you go to the plate 4 times, don't put the ball in play. Walks once and struck out 3, and there's an off-speed pitch and another low, but Ike Davis started. I can't believe it. I think he's had enough arguing with Adam Omar.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But as we pointed out in the first inning, he called a low strike, and he's been consistent. Some that looked like should have been called otherwise, but that was not the case. See, he's figured out the score, but see Adam Omar looked up. He knows where to look for balls and strikes. We still don't know, but home plate umpire does, and let's hope he's not relying on the scoreboard and has his own indicator.
So 0-2 the count.
Adam Amari, Major League umpire, still stands out. He ejected Bob Melvin in the spring training game last year, and that something you just never forget.
Tough to forget that, yeah.
Especially playing over at Talking Stick, and he had to walk all the way across the field to center field, and then the door was locked. Couldn't get into the clubhouse. Actually ejected him in spring training for doing nothing, really. Okay, there it is. Thank you, Diller. Where is that, by the way?
So there you count. Leidendorf hits a high pop up to shallow right. Should be the second out, and it is. So Chu grabs it, and the Rangers are 1 out away from getting out of town with a split.
Now batting left fielder.
So it's been an interesting opening series, Ray, where the A's lots of runs on Monday and Wednesday. Not much offense on Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, 1 run for Jesse Hahn on Tuesday, 1 run today. Graveman start, and 8 on Monday and 10 last night.
Huh. Wow. Here's Mark Canha, a single, a ground out, and a fly ball to left field. There's a strike call. A's post-game live coming up right at the conclusion of our ball game. Unfortunately, the gentlemen are going to have to break down what looks like it's going to be a A's loss, and it is, as Canha pops out. Mendez comes in, has a 3-up, 3-down ninth inning, and today it's all Texas Rangers. They hit 4 home runs. They get terrific starting pitching from the young right-hander Nick Martinez, and when it's all said and done, the Rangers win it this afternoon by a final score of 10-1. So both teams 2-2, and the A's will get set to host the Seattle Mariners this weekend. You've been watching A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Brody Brazil and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.